innovators working in music industry based in France too.
Hi everyone, my name is Olivier. I'm currently the CFO of Unison Rights, which is a new private collection society based in Barcelona, Spain. And we're active now since the beginning of the work, and we are already managing close to 800,000 works with a global catalog and a global focus and mindset.
Okay, thank you very much. So before we start the pitching session, I would like to remind our viewers of the process. So basically the fellows have been requested to pitch their project in 3 minutes, and all jury members have 6 minutes to give them feedback, ask for clarification, ask any questions. At the end of the 4 pitches and Q&A that are a little bit more private, we're going to have an extensive Q&A session with you, the viewers. And so please feel free to write your questions in the comment box down below. And at the end of the session, we're going to collect them and ask them to the fellows. Unfortunately, Angel will not be able to stay at this Q&A at the end. So please focus on Groover, Terrible Merch, and Sensi. Good. So now, without any further ado, I would like to ask Angel to start with his pitch.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't able to unmute myself. So thank you, Laura. Hi, my name is Angel Olmos, and I'm the founder of Icauda. A few weeks ago, I met Zach. Zach is an expert luthier who can copy any guitar, even those made back in the 70s, without the brands themselves being able to point out the differences. Zach does it as a hobby and as a challenge, but others do it to earn much, much money. The musical instrument industry is among the 20 that suffer most for counterfeiting. The willingness to pay for an instrument decreases as the counterfeits are found at a better price, and the margins at the tire chain are reduced. The extensive use of online commerce and the so-called gray market are increasing this trend, forcing some brands to enter into retail price management practices that are being massively fined recently for a total of tens of millions of euros. But how can we differentiate two apparently identical instruments? In the same way that our browsing history uniquely identifies us, the traceability of an instrument's operations and movements can be used to point out those that do not come from the expected channel. Icauda is the best tool to fight this scourge. What is Icauda? It is a blockchain-based registry that uniquely identifies in musical instruments using both physical and documentary evidence, as well as real-world browsing history. We use artificial intelligence to recognize wood patterns, detect engraved serial numbers, and to get data for RFID and MAC addresses. We record all kinds of operations, such as repairs, sales, tunings, rentals, insurances, and a long, etc. Our system has already received the support of the Spanish National Council for Scientific Research, the Spanish National Heritage, the Computer Vision Center of the University of Barcelona, and of course, our beloved JAM program of the European Commission. We empower brands to increase revenue through direct contact with current owners, to sell other products or services, or to identify potential customers through profile association. Icauda also provides tools for quality improvement and management. How do we earn money? We charge a small amount for every new instrument registered by the brands and nothing to the instrument owners. We are looking for clients who wish to carry out pilot programs with the objective of implementing the technology throughout their distribution chain until reaching the end user. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Angel. I let the jury come back to you with the questions.
I have one question. I get the whole blockchain-based solution. Great. How do you verify the informations that are put in the system by the users?
Yeah, it depends on who is entering the information. Brands, they are entering the information of by themselves using their existing CRM, using our APIs. And the rest of the chain, like the final users, will use an app that will provide further in the project. And all the people involved in that got contact with the instrument will have an application in order to enter that information into the registry.
Okay.
Thanks, Matilde.
Thank you.
Angel, I had two questions for you. One, I didn't exactly get how exactly you go to the client. And I wanted to have a feel of how do you think is the cost of acquisition of one client here? And I wanted to put that in perspective in, the pricing. Is that a one-off? Is that at the beginning of the relationship? Or is that something that is, more of a SaaS type of contract with your clients?
Okay, so the good thing of Ecauda is that creates positive externalities for everybody in the system and negative externalities for those not entering the system. We are mainly focusing right now in brands because they are the ones that have the power to push the system down the river. And once the system reaches to the stores, it is the final users who would get the possibility of storing the information in their own devices. So this is the way we plan in our roadmap to get to the end user, because going directly to the end user is very, very complicated and we need a lot of investment in marketing. It is not the right approach for this. I know that how do we monetize? It's a one-off. Yeah, it's a one-off for the brands. Provided the number of millions of instruments that are now constructed every year provides us the funding we need for keep going. In the far future, we also will charge for additional features, like, for example, selling instruments in the second-hand market and a commission on the amount paid. And also, if there are some other activities involved, like having technicians and experts that can verify the authenticity of instruments, we will charge a commission on that. So there is a lot of different ways of monetization for the project.
So
Thanks.
I wanted to ask, how does this benefit musicians, or is it not really meant for artistic people?
Okay, in fact, musicians are the people that are going to have the most benefits, because right now, for example, as a musician, if you get your instrument stolen, for example, you never see that again. But provided that you cannot re-enter that instrument into the chain, you can flag your instrument, and the incentives for stealing instruments, it is not that high. And also you can prove the value of your instrument when you are selling it or buying it, because you know that the arbitrage of value of an instrument is very subjective. So getting to know exactly how much it costed, how long, how old it is, creates a warranty that the instrument is good and in good shape.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Angel, if one question with regards to the size of the market, I guess there's a big portion of the market that is not really looking for this type of product. I mean, if you have a Stradivarius or you have a vintage Selmer, okay, that's super interesting. But if you have a violin that costs you, 100 euros or 500 euros, maybe that's not something you consider. So how big do you think this market is?
In fact, we are broadening the market, because, as you said, having registering an instrument that costs 100 euros, it doesn't worth it. But you have to take into account that you are going to access to a lot of big data generated by these instruments. Sometimes instruments generate much more revenue than their own cost. For example, my piano is 123 years old, and it has been tuned consistently two times per year for that time, and that costed more than the original price of the piano. So it doesn't matter how expensive the instrument is, but you are going to access a universe of big data that are going to give you a lot of opportunities of upselling. So the kid that bought that instrument, that violin, for just learning, you already know that he's learning. So you probably can sell them playbooks and scores adapted to their level. So we are creating an additional space for brands to develop.
Okay, well, I'm looking at those. Thank you very much, Angel. And now we would start with Groover. Dorian, I give you the floor.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I was just setting my mic. I will share this. You probably see it now. So I'm Dorian, one of the co-founders of Groover, which is the platform that aims at helping artists promote their music with results to a variety of influencers, media outlets, blogs, radios, basically reinventing music promotion. So we started with a simple fact, is that promotion is the main problem for artists today. And there are more than 40,000 new songs that are released every day on streaming platforms, as Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, revealed. And we realized that the artist, in order to stand out from the crowd, had more than ever need to go through influential players. These thousands of influencers, media outlets, radios, record labels, and playlisters who could help them get ahead. And currently, the artists have only two options to get in touch with these influencers. First, they can hire a PR officer, which is very costly and not always efficient. And also, when we asked PR agents, they told us that in average, they refused to defend 9 projects out of 10 because of the maturity issue, of the fact that they could only manage a certain amount of artists that they could help them with promotion. The only other solution is for them to send thousands, hundreds of emails to databases that are not targeted, which is very time consuming, and also the big issue is that they get not a single answer. That's why we created Groover. So on Groover, it's simple. The artists and their representatives, then they send a song to a selection of blogs, radios, record labels, music professionals of their choice for €2 by influencer. And on their side, the influencer, the creator, is paid €1 for listening to the track and at least write a short feedback about the track. And not forcibly share it, but at least they make a decision and they can just write a feedback and they get paid anyway. And if they don't, after 1 week, the artists get credits back to contact other influencers. So basically, they are guaranteed that they're gonna get listened to and to get feedback. So our value propositions are simple. The artists on their side, they are ensured to be listened to and to get valuable feedback. And they also have another solution to promote their music easily and choose who they want to contact, so get the power again to make their music visible. And on the other side, the music influencers are finally paid for the music discovery activity, whatever they decide to do, and they keep the complete editorial independence. And they receive tracks through an optimized dashboard to discover like filtered discoveries. To tell you a bit more about our network of media outlets and music pros, because the term music influencer can be shady. We have more than 800 that are currently active in France, but also in Canada, in Brazil, and in Italy. They have 3 categories. The first one is the influencers who can bring you visibility, so journalists, playlists, blogs, radios. The second one are industry partners, so people that artists would contact to maybe partner with them, so record labels, managers, publishers. And the third one are people who can really give them some detailed feedback about their production or their strategy. And you can see a bunch of them here. Our business model, as I told you, is simple. It's a 50% commission. An artist pays €2 by influencer selected. The influencer gets €1 for listening to the track and giving feedback, and we get €1 as commission. And usually the average revenue per user per month is around €50. So they select an average 25 contacts. Our traction has been great. We've had in 2 years more than 330,000 sendings of songs. The traction in revenue is also visible since we went from 161,000 euros in revenue in 2019, and we are on set to do more than 500,000 this year. So we have basically 3 times what we were doing in 2019. And also the added value is significant since we have an 85% feedback rate on the platform and more than 70,000 sharings, and there have been more than 100 signatures on record labels, publishers and managers through Groover that we know about. So not only all of them, but only the ones that we got a hold of. And this is for what's next. Our 3 major strategic bets for development are to build international communities as we did in France, to develop them in Canada and Italy and Brazil. We have now reached more than 50% of our customers which are in other countries than France. And the second thing is data recommendation. So we are currently building a state-of-the-art recommendation algorithm to be put on the platform to help artists choose who they want to contact especially. And the third bet is to be able to scout the top artists who use the platform thanks to the feedback given. And this leads us to finish on the vision that we have. So it's empower artists to get their music heard. And now we are just starting the second chapter of this vision, which is try to accelerate the careers of the ones who get the best results. So through high quality data and also recommendations to big industry players, we're able to create them more opportunities. And also we are launching in a few weeks our artist accelerator. So 15 artists who have been detected on the platform. And we intend to provide them tailor-made and continuous support, and also build special content such as lab sessions, events when we can, and also partner services, and try to adapt to their needs in the current time without blocking them, and try to bring them more to more people and provide them with more opportunities. Thank you very much for this. And yeah, with 16 people right now, it's a lot. And we hope to keep on growing and providing these opportunities to musicians. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorian.
Welcome.
Yeah, Dorian, thank you. Brilliant. I mean, to be honest, it's made me want to join it. I just, no, I know. And I'm very good at reaching out and getting results back. But what I'm really interested in the model. So you pay the influencer €1. Is there any way that you then track whether they then actually review or actually playlist that artist? How do you keep a track of all of that stuff?
So first thing, they are not forced to share it then, so they make a decision. So out of this 85% answer rate that we have around right now a 20% approval rate, meaning that the media outlet or the playlister has actually decided to share it. Yeah. And then they have a way to fill in the link of their sharing, whatever it is, a playlist or review. So the artist gets this information, and they can also follow up directly with the influencers to be sure that their track is actually going to be shared once it's approved.
Yeah, and so as an artist, you need to make like a tailor-made profile, and then that sort of And yeah, I mean, how is this doing in the UK? Do you have quite a lot of people signing up there, or is it?
So we really started out in France with a lot of energy, and now we've tried to build some communities in other countries, especially the UK, but it's been pretty organic for now. I think the UK is probably the second market in which we are the most present, if it's not the third after the US. We have around 40 to 50 curators that are from the UK out of the 800. And we have more and more artists who use it, and they especially use it in order to target France and new markets. Because since France is very complicated to understand for people that are in other countries, for people in the UK, it's a way to try out the waters and test if their music could work actually in France and in other countries, in other markets that we have on the platform.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dorian, thank you very much for that. I had 2 questions on that. First of all, how did you come up with the pricing? I mean, €2 on one side and 1 and 1. And is that going to evolve, and how's that calculated? And B, do you have a case study from the artist perspective of the saving he's been doing using the platform via using a PR agency? in terms of, you know, effectiveness to reaching the final destinatory of the material, basically.
Yeah, so about the first question about the pricing, the reason for this pricing is that first it was simple. We thought it was a sufficiently complicated system that did not exist before. So we decided to do something that was very simple, that everybody would be at the same price, and it would be €1, and it would be more simple for people to understand. So that's the first reason. And also we thought that it was a price that was okay, and we realized that people were eager to pay this amount. About the evolution of the pricing, we are currently working on a second tier of influencers, like bigger ones, that would be paid twice this amount. So it would be €4 to get in touch with them, and they would be paid €2, and we would get €2 commission. It will be launched before the end of the year as a test with some bigger influencers to see if we can like play with the pricing and see what effect it has, and is there like satisfaction with the fact that we are able to get these influencers on the platform thanks to a higher pricing. And your second question was case studies. Yeah, we have a lot of artists who met with like their record label, their managers, who made their entire press folder and press file with Groover with just €50 invested. But what's important to note is that it's not a replacement for the PR agent. It's mainly something that we feel that is complementary and that is addressing all these artists that are not ready to get in touch with a PR agent, or who have had a mission for an album during 2 months but want to keep promoting it, and the mission with the PR agent is done. So it's basically something that can go on top of it. And what is cool is that we've seen some big indie record labels in France who have PR agent on the project also use Groover to get people on the web, to get independent playlisters. And mostly we have like a big satisfaction rate, especially from the artists, to get great results on the platform, which makes sense. And a lot of them have started to use only Groover, especially for single releases or EP releases when they don't have the money or the budget to hire a PR agent. So it's not replacing, but it's a tool that didn't exist and something that they couldn't do before.
Sorry, one very quick question. Is there a minimum spend per artist, or they can spend €1 if they want to?
It's €10, the minimum.
Okay.
But the average is around €50 right now for payment. And usually we advise them to contact at least 20 influencers, because if they contact just 5, they usually don't get the value of like sending your track to 20 people and actually get 18 or 19 responses within a week, which is crazy compared to what they get when they send emails, which is like 0.
That kind of came on to the question I wanted to ask. How is it received by artists to ask for €2 per sending to an influencer? So whether it's a record label or media. And also concerning emerging artists, did you see any movement linked to the fact that we can't have live concerts right now? Did they go for that kind of promotion instead?
For the second question first, because the first one I need to just clarify what you meant. But for the second one, definitely during the first months of the lockdown, I think the first day, like March 19th, we didn't have anybody paying, or at least just like a few artists, because I think everybody was figuring out what they were going to do for the rest of their lives, the rest of the month. But then from the March 20th, we've seen like a big increase. I think we multiplied our revenue and the number of artists who used it by almost 3 times in 3 months during the lockdown. And definitely we saw people who were hesitating to use this kind of service realize that the only thing they could do was promote their music online and try to make it live, because they couldn't play shows. And right now it's more complicated in September, October, and October is better, but I think it's because the artists right now, they don't know how long it's gonna last. During the lockdown, they were like, it's gonna last 2 or 3 months, so I'm gonna just replace it right now with that kind of solution. Right now, nobody knows how long it's gonna last, and they're more like in the limbo of what am I gonna do? Do I release my project? Do I push it? Do I invest something, because I don't know what I'm gonna get if I can't play shows. So it's more complicated, but we've really seen like a big change with the COVID crisis, that now almost every artist that releases a track realizes that they have to invest something online if they want to get visible. And about your first question, it was, yeah.
The fact that for emerging artists to pay per sending, like to give €2 to an influencer to get some feedback right away or within the week, how is it received by the artists, like the fact to pay per media?
Some of them didn't like it, at least, but now as soon as they try it and they see the results, they're like, okay, I see why it makes sense to invest a few dozens euros in this platform and actually get results. Because all of them, they got this frustration of like sending emails and not getting answers, or even some of them who hired a PR officer who wasn't the one for them or for their project and didn't get results at all. So they see the value of actually getting answers. At the beginning, there was like more hesitation and more, but right now that it's been 2 years that we've been live, we almost never see now artists who are like, what, I have to pay for this? Or at least it's people who are not ready to really promote their music, or who didn't realize how harsh the competition was, or who don't want to invest money in, because maybe of principles, and they don't see their music as a product, which can happen. But then as soon as they send emails and they see that nobody answers, they start to like, maybe, is there another way that I can do that?
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, Vishal, I have to cut you there because I'm conscious of the time, but maybe we can keep it for the Q&A session afterwards. Now I'd like to give the floor to Sensi and Joao. Thanks, Dorian.
You're welcome.
Okay, you are listening, right? So, hi, I'm João Neves. I'm a musician and founder of Sensi. At Sensi, we are developing music tools that grow with musicians. One day, I met a famous Portuguese electronic producer who also plays guitar, bass, and keys. He is a really versatile musician and plays both DJ sets and live concerts with a band. I showed him my custom-made guitar and some other tools. Immediately, the special interface on the guitar captured his attention. He said that it would be very exciting to remotely control or interact with other instruments or effects, making his performance easier, more organic, and lively. In this case, a modular tool which can be easily applied on any instrument would be a great extension for its musical possibilities. Encounters like this help me to understand the needs that musicians have trying to develop expressive ways of playing. Exactly the same problems that I felt as a guitar player. After trying several options, I showed him some prototypes for SensiM, and immediately a flow of ideas crossed his mind. The prototype was so adaptable that all of the ideas were already possible and nothing needed to be changed. As the device is wireless, he thought about triggering a sample from the backstage or interacting with effects while diving into the audience. It was so exciting that he even taught me new ways how to use it. We talked about the importance of human interaction while making music. How human expression makes music more authentic, and for that, physical interfaces are a must-have. Musicians call this type of devices a MIDI controller. It helps them remotely control software or hardware, even simultaneously. SensiM is the only device capable of meeting any musician's needs, and it's also the most portable and versatile. SensiM can be used on instruments or standalone, with computers, smartphones, or Pro Gear, and its users can select not just their interfaces, but also the way that they work, thanks to a community-based software. Ultimately, SensiM is the infinite Lego for music making. It can follow musicians from the day they start making music until they reach the biggest stage. After getting working prototypes of SenseM, our enthusiastic team of musicians, designers, and marketing experts has been growing our community, and we plan to launch a crowdfunding campaign. To be successful in putting SenseM in the hands of music makers, we need to raise 150,000 euros. Please reach me out if you want to learn more. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
Cool. So that was really cool, João.
Thanks.
So I wanted to understand, you said that really great story about the Portuguese electronic producer who, I don't know his name by face, how he could interact with your guitar. So how would that actually happen? I just like want to understand what it actually does.
So basically, on my guitar, I had a customized MIDI controller built in using sensors, stuff like proximity sensors, pressure sensors. And the idea was to interact with sound effects in an expressive way. So pretty much like it happens in the synthesizers world, where I play some notes and I open a filter or so. I wanted to bring this to the guitar world, but without losing the normal audience interaction that an instrument such as a guitar or a bass has. And when I showed him this guitar, he was like, oh, this would be really cool, even to interact with other instruments. So basically from my guitar or my bass interact with other instruments, although his feedback was that he would like to use it on his current gear. So not having a custom made guitar or so to do this. For example, one of the ways that he taught me how to use it was that it could be, the technology that we were using was already applied in the new MPC Live from Akai. And so he could, from his guitar or from the backstage, trigger the intro sample, or he could give one device to the singer, and he would go to the audience and he would trigger a clap or whatever. And this was the way. So he showed me that the device could be way more versatile.
Yeah. Okay, wicked. Thank you.
Joao, one question for me to understand that better, because I'm not a tech specialist, but is that only applicable to guitars, or it can be applicable to drums, wind instrument, any other instrument?
Yeah, it can, as I said, it can be used as an extension of an instrument, such as a guitar or a clarinet or whatever, or it can be used standalone. So basically how the system works is pretty much like your mouse in your computer. So it sends information, and the computer or the host device interprets it in the way that you decide. Got it?
Okay, so can you think about this as a new instrument, like, or a grown instrument of your existing instrument, something like that?
Both, yes.
Okay, interesting.
I wanted to ask, you talked about this in a live context, right? So when you play, and did you think of using that in studios or in recording studios as well?
Yeah. One of, again, like every time that we meet a musician, we learn a new way how to use it, basically. And some time ago, we were in a fair and just got this feedback about how awesome this would be for someone who is tracking guitars or bass, because you can attach the device to your guitar or bass. And one of the problems in nowadays productions, you are in a home studio, so you are going to push the space bar to hit record, and you are smashing your guitar or your bass into the table. So one of the cool things that you can do with this is to attach it on your guitar, map the controls of the transport controls, so to record and to play and whatever, and you can just rock it out and jump in your bedroom and record it. So yeah, it's also usable in a studio environment.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Wonderful. So I think we can now go to our last pitch, which is Terrible Merch with Tertia.
Hi everyone. I'm going to share my screen with you now, and we'll get going on this. So my name's Tertia. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Terrible Merch. We're an innovative new kind of music merchandise company, and we're helping artists make money in the last physical remaining revenue stream in music without a digital competitor. It's a $25 billion market and it's growing. We have nearly 400 clients and we've already made 1.3 million in revenue. And we're the first ever 360 solution to the market. Make a lot of awesome products, just in case you guys weren't familiar with what's being sold as merch at the moment. There are a lot of problems with merchandise, everything from overstocking to pricing, poor logistics, poor design, poor quality, inability to take borderless payments, bad financial relationships with fans. Now, we can't solve all of those all at once, but we're solving a few. We're making the right products at the right volume. We're providing great design and quality. We're building a borderless NFC payment gateway, which means it'll work the same way as you paying with your phone for something, but you'll be able to receive payments. And we're providing specialist support and tools. Now, anyone can say they're providing specialist support and tools, but we've built our own. TM Live is a simple and powerful tool for live music, and we're also using it for online at the moment. When we sent it out on the road last year, August, we had 21 active users and over an average of 10.7 days of touring. Artists each made £6,150 on average in revenue over 10 days. And we made about half of that. So it works out for everyone. You can tell a lot about a company by the company it keeps, and we keep a lot of great companies, you can see. We also work with a lot of incredible artists. What's really unique about our roster is that it's 74% female and non-binary. That's really unusual for music, and I think it's down to having a female co-founder. Our route to market, so far we've done no outbound marketing. It's mostly client referrals and positive endorsements. My appearances on panels and conferences here. TM Live, the platform and mobile app, acts as a network and bring lots of other people into the network. And we're an exclusive and known brand that people want to be part of. We have a really great team, as you can see. We all come from music, fashion, games, e-commerce. The most important person you want to note in there is Maud, who's head of Parks and Recreation. She kind of is the glue that holds us all together. We're currently raising our seed funding round. We're looking for 1 million for 20% equity in Terrible Merch. And we're going to use the funds to expand into the US, the EU, make some new hires, and further develop TM Live. And just in case you hadn't caught it, we're already generating revenue and we have our proof of concept. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tertia.
Okay, thank you for your pitch. That was very clear. So you said that you launched last August, right?
We took our app out last August. So our app and mobile platform is what came out last August. We've been around since 2016. We fundraised last January. We closed in March. We built our first version of our beta and our beta platform and app, released in August, sent it on the road, tested it, and now we're developing it some more. It actually went out with quite a few more bands over the big touring season at the end of the year.
Okay, great. So you were, as if I understood everything completely, that you were doing this logistics with the tours, right? You were blending in with it. How do you cater now that we don't tour? Did you think of, I don't know, going through live stream and tagging along with that, or?
So we're lucky to be a company with multiple revenue streams. We took a huge focus to online when coronavirus happened, mostly to help our artists that we looked after with the manufacturing and everything in their merchandise supply chain, kind of make it through the huge financial loss of touring. Once we got everyone online, we realized that we were doing a bit better than everyone else because artists were actually making a significant amount of revenue online from selling online. And that kind of comes down to the experience of working with us, having really great products at the right prices, a really great online experience for fans. And what we've incorporated into TM Live is the full reporting and sales reporting and restocking. Everything can be done by the app and the platform, keeping artists more engaged with the whole process, therefore selling more, ordering more, keeping the financial relationship with their fans nice and strong. So coronavirus has actually been really good for us because we've added another revenue stream for artists to online instead of just sales of merchandise at live shows.
Okay, yeah. And just one quick thing, you talked about high quality products and they want to expand and go abroad. Where do you manufacture all that? How do you manage that?
So we have a minimum standard of quality. Obviously, our artists have different concerns that they want to focus on. So we adjust that. Some artists are very concerned with sustainable items. Some artists are very concerned with how things are farmed. So it depends on what the artist wants is what we go. But we manufacture everywhere from Europe, to Australia, sometimes some things in China. We finish everything here in the UK, or if we're facilitating tours in the US, then we're using local products as well, and we're finishing products there, which I think, we try not to like ship everything cross borders. It makes no sense. So we like to manufacture locally and use things locally. And we have a reliable supply chain that helps us do that.
Okay, great. So relying on the artist then. Oh, thank you.
Hi, Tertia. It was really cool. I recognised a lot of the artists there. So I noticed there again, that was a very clear presentation. And I just wanted to ask, there was something about people kind of overstocking or people kind of so how do you calculate that? Do you do research as a company into the artist fan base and then kind of scale out accordingly, or how does that all work?
So we do a little bit of that, but truth be told, once an artist is in our ecosystem, we understand what they can sell on tour and what they can sell online, and in what sizes, what colors, what their fan base wants, and we help them do that. The other thing we do when an artist is a bit newer is we start with pre-orders, and we get to know their audience a little more, a little more in a different way, a little less datery, so it really depends. But basically, we're able also to compare them to other artists on our roster that have the same audiences or the same genres, and therefore we can, more accurately predict what they'll sell and what colors and what sizes and to wear.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Tertia, I had one question with regards to the product. How bespoke can you do those products? I mean, are there
anything you want? We come from a fashion background, so we are product managers some of us come from a fashion background, some of us are musicians. But product management, we make the wildest merch. It's kind of what we're famous for. So when someone wants a bucket hat for afros, they come to us. When someone wants their Calvin Klein underwear made for their new album, they come to us. We do it all. And we make bespoke candles, lighters, anything really. As long as it's high quality, we're into making it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Awesome. I'm looking at the jury members to see if you have any other questions, or you good? Well then, we're actually right on time for the Q&A questions with the audience. I'm looking at my little chat bar to see what we have, and we have a question for Dorian Groover. How are you choosing which countries to focus on for the development of Groover internationally?
So it's a very interesting question. So we've been focusing on markets where we know there are like some activity and musicians, and there's something going on. Actually, it's more, at first we started with other French-speaking markets such as Belgium and the French part of Canada, because we knew we were able ourselves to try to develop them with the same humane touch to it, and the fact of building communities as we did in Quebec. And then we started recruiting some ambassadors in different countries. So we sent a lot of job offers on our platforms and everywhere. And we actually got, we have 6 ambassadors that are now active, that we pay as freelancers in different countries to build a community of influencers. And actually 2 of them are like purely amazing, and it's Pietro in Italy and Thiago in Brazil, and they started the community of influencers in a few weeks, and now they are like 100% into it. And that's one of the reasons why we have so many contacts in Italy and in Brazil, and there's really traction there. So we start by selecting ambassadors, and for example, if you are in a different country, and if you're in Sweden, if you are in another market and you feel that it could be interesting in your country, don't hesitate to contact us. And And we like build a process and a guide to onboard ambassadors in different countries, and it's proved to be very effective. So we really open to this sort of opportunity.
Wonderful, thanks. I have another question for Sensi, I think. It's, oh, can you show us how it works?
Yeah,
On Groover? No, sorry. Sorry. I cut my mic.
So basically, yeah, so basically I have these two devices, and actually answers as well a bit to Oliver. In this mode, I'm using it standalone. So for example, I have these two devices, they are connected to my computer using Bluetooth, and I can use it to, I'm triggering a simple 808. And I can use this, I can connect other modules to the device, place them as I want, like this. So basically you get like a controller that no one has. And to use it, to apply it, for example, on a guitar or so, there's this special bottom surface, is not glue, so it will not damage, I don't know, the polish of a Fender Stratocaster from '67. So this special surface allows you to attach it to an instrument, replace it and reposition it, change, share with your bandmate, wherever, and it connects Bluetooth, so you don't need to do a new connection. And the only thing that you need to do with this surface is to clean it time to time with a wet tissue, and to have the surface where you are attaching it as well clean. It's basically like that.
Okay, super. And I think, Joa, correct me if I'm wrong, but you do have like on YouTube presentations on you playing with it somewhere.
Yeah. So
yeah.
if you go to our YouTube, Instagram, I remember better the link. I think it's Sensi Music Systems. You have like a bunch of short videos. If you go to our website, you have like 4 user cases, like applied to an instrument. So being an extension of actually a guitar, being an extension of other MIDI controllers, or being used standalone in multiple different ways. So if you go to sensisystems.com, you'll be able to see it.
Super. And I just take this occasion to tell all our viewers that if you want to find out about the fellows and the program, you can go on jumpmusic.eu and you'll see all the websites, all the Instagram, all the LinkedIn, all the social media basically, and you can dig a little further. But I have another question right here for Tasha. How do you choose your clients?
Well, our team is growing, so it's a little more fluid these days. But you know, we have to love our project to do good work in it, and I think anyone who works in the music industry will tell you the same. You gotta be into it to deliver something great. So either it's a project or a team that we love, but there's quite a diverse taste in the office now. There's 6 of us to choose from. So I say office, you know, online, wherever. So it's quite diverse, but yeah, it's about us really connecting with an artist and believing in them. And you know, people can contact us via our online form on our website and send us their music, or send it to us on Instagram or Twitter even, and we'll listen. And if we love you, we'll write back. If we don't, you know, write us again and see if someone different answers.
Super cool. Sensi, I want to participate in the crowdfunding. Where can I do this?
So right now, the best idea to keep updated about that is to go to our website, sensisystems.com, and just subscribe our newsletter, so you'll keep updated when we are launching the campaign.
Oh, I think my mic was not on. Super. Digital native. I have a question for Groover. I'm a new artist with only 100 followers. Is your tool relevant for me?
Definitely, and 100%. If you have published your music on YouTube or SoundCloud, and even if you haven't distributed yet, but you want to, and you're serious about it, you can definitely use Groover. As I told in the pitch, you can have 3 different targets on Groover. The first one is to get in touch with people who can bring you visibility, so bloggers, radios, record label, playlisters. And the second one is to get in touch with potential partners, such as record labels, bookers. And the third one is for coaches, so people who can give you detailed advice if you want to really have feedback on your production or on your project. So whatever your level is of visibility, Groover can be really interesting for you. And we actually got a lot of stories of artists who didn't have any visibility yet, and maybe they were worrying about like putting it live, and they used Groover and they got some great results, and it actually pushed them to go further on this path.
Okay, so nobody should feel intimidated and they should contact you regardless of the numbers of followers. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Open to all. There is a comment for Dorian. In a class of 30 music marketing students just last week, Groover came up several times and all in incredibly positive ways. I'm going to be testing the platform myself with my latest artist release in a few weeks' time, so I'm looking forward to seeing it in action. Not a question, just a comment.
That's great. That's great. And also, I didn't say that, but we are putting a lot of energy on customer support and service. So if you go on the website and you have some questions, we have a chat window in the bottom left corner. And if you have questions anytime, you can just ask us, and it's going to be Timothée or Frank or myself. I still do like 50% of the of the answers on this. We'll be available to help you use the platform for the first time.
Perfect, thank you. I have a question for Tertia. Well, not myself, but do you provide options for sustainably produced merchandise?
Oh yeah, it's a huge priority for us. We like to adjust to how the artist wants it, but of course, sustainable also means not stop making too much of it as well, and using techniques to finish garments or whatever you're making in a way that doesn't damage the earth. So we're very considerate of it. I think if you even visit some of our artist stores, you can see exactly what their sustainable values are. We put on, you know, the items that they choose to kind of finish or sell. They all have sustainable things. Plus, our warehouse is totally plastic free, and everything we ship out to fans directly comes without any plastic. It's all sent out in like fully recyclable paper packaging. It's one of the first warehouses in the UK that does that, and it's yeah, it's incredible. It's like we're very concerned with it. We do our part. We don't want more crap in the world. No one does.
Absolutely true. Good. We have another question for Dorian. I'm interested in finding out more about the 15 key artists that you have selected. What plans have you got for these artists?
So actually, we intended to launch this during the Malmö Festival. We had like a press conference and everything. We delayed it a bit, but it's going to be called Groover Obsessions, the program, and we're going to have a website with information on each of these artists. They're in very different genres: rock, pop, folk, electronic music, rap. The idea is really to show a sample of the best artists that have used Groover and the ones that have got the best results, but also the ones on which we have a crush and we feel that we could be useful. And there's a lot of human touch in this. We know them great and we want to push them. And to tell you just about what we plan to do, the first thing is on a daily, weekly basis to help them do what they are struggling to do by themselves, especially promotion, strategy things. So lots of these artists, even though they do great music, sometimes they're like, hey, I have my music, I'm going to release it tomorrow, and they haven't prepared anything about it. And we are there also to try to help them on this weekly basis. The second thing is we're going to produce some content, specific content. So live sessions, we're working on a compilation. We have built a new branding and a new website. And the third thing is partner services. So I've actually started working with Tertia and Terrible Merch to try to provide them with a good merchandising service, but we're also trying to put them in touch with the cool distributors, people who can help them track their rights. So it's definitely this kind of whole ecosystem. We try to like fill the blanks and help them go to the next level.
Okay, perfect. And I'm loving also the Jump collaboration in here. That's the whole point. Another question for Joao. When and where is the next live demonstration of Sensi? I can't wait. Wow.
Well, yes, I mean, hopefully soon. We are still trying to figure out the content because as musicians and as a versatile tool, musicians tend to use it in a simple way, and we want to show that it's versatile, and you can make a lot of things. So we are kind of tailoring the content to show that versatility and not just keep making beats with 808 or just using, I don't know, whammy effects on a guitar or something like that. So we are trying to manage, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But again, stay tuned.
People are really impatient. It's like, yeah, cool. I'm looking at jury members right now to see if there's any other question you would like to sneak into the session right now.
Well, more than anything, I just want to say thank you. It's really interesting to, look at where everything is coming from, more from a business angle, and it's really exciting. It feels like there's a lot of possibility. It feels inclusive, and that kind of thing is really exciting to me. So thank you, all of you.
Yeah, I would like to thank you too. I don't have any specific questions either. I think I've asked all of them, but yeah, it's really nice to see how big your projects are. So it's always very positive. So great.
Yeah, likewise, I'd like to say great energy, great vibes, and I think there were lots of very good ideas here put forward. So all the best, and if you need anything, you can reach out. Okay, so very good. We had a lot of fun. It was super good.
Okay, well, I think on that note, we can close the session. I would like to say a huge, huge thank you to our 3 jury members and to all fellows for pitching and taking part in this exercise. We have a second pitch session tomorrow focusing on the projects on social change, and it's tomorrow at 2. So please tune in if you want to find out. But for now, thanks a lot and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.